New Year, same old stuff, hopefully not too much. We're out there, no ice, Lake Erie. We're gonna try to get one last trip in at the New Year's, but one thing has changed. Probation's off. Jesse's back, not Shady.
And I'm back.
Sometime a week I'm back. Yeah, so, you know, this time of year the water's just barely above freezing. We're at 33 degrees.
Remember to bring sunglasses or you're going to cry like a fat kid that got his cake stolen.
Fat. I mean, I'm going to complain I didn't bring the right lenses, so you probably don't want to hear me complain about that. So here's the deal. We were marking with the bird. We'll show you later. Look at our videos about high-speed marking. It's really, really important because there's an awful lot of water with no fish in. So we hit about maybe a mile stretch where we had some good marks, and we're going to give it a little go. If you don't see them, don't fish them. All right. A little weighted one.
20.
Wrong rod, wrong rod, wrong rod.
That's why I hate
Country's
fucking
back.
trees.
Back good, kid. All right, here we go.
Not even moving.
2021. Country Steve. We could be ice fishing. I'd rather be doing that because then Steve would be there too. Even though we like each other, he'd be like, "Oh, I'm gonna be at the Holiday Inn because it's too cold out."
Nah, it's gonna be working.
He's got full swims gear in today. He knew it was gonna be chilly. He said he'd be working. There's some giants on the bottom. Oh. So what I was telling Steve as we were winding this junior donkey in here, this time of year, you know, we're fishing small areas, so you're turning the boat and you're doing stuff, and we're kind of courting the current. So it makes it even more difficult to keep from tangling stuff up. So there's lots of ways to do it, but I want to get all those lines right out of the way.
There's lots of ways to do it, but in Ross's boat, there's only one way to do it.
I'm like the government of fishing. That didn't sound good.
Like Governor Whitler.
Yeah, I mean, this is not, it's not political. This is get away from politics day. But, you know, we were marking on the bird on the way out and found this really small pod, and I'm being, you know, jump to get these lines in the water because there wasn't that big of a pod, but they're really good fish and they were down, and I was telling Steve that. So normally in something like this, we would only put one rod down or snap it down with a 2-ounce weight. We did 2 on each side, and sure enough, that extra rod that we had that normally would not have been, that's the first one to go, and it appears to be a pretty decent one.
Hey, can you address me as Country Steve, not just Steve?
Gone to his head.
The artist formerly known as Steve, currently known as Country. By the way, I did have a YouTube comment actually last night. You can confirm this, producer dude, but it said, hey, forget Country Steve, how about Suburb Kyle? So Suburb Kyle, thank you for watching. And, you know, Country Steve, you know, I mean,
Might have to, yeah, we might have to.
everyone is replaceable.
Right, but second board.
Double. Ooh.
But where's Kyle at? He's still in the suburbs.
No offense, Kyle.
No offense, Kyle.
I think that I joke about getting rid of Country Steve. Your ass ain't leaving the dock unless you pay for it. He's on the meal ticket. I hate to let it go through his head as Country Steve already has. But, you know, that's cool. So that lure is actually over here. And come on back a little bit. We got a triple, boys. We got our third rod out there. Actually,
Wait.
we got 4 on.
And how long have we been fishing?
About 2 minutes, we got 4 on. That's like quattro. So what I'm gonna do is just get this out of his way. Shady's back. Stay back here, stay back here.
I'm staying back here. I'm not going anywhere.
Okay, pull some line out.
Thanks, Dad.
So, hey, just because I want this to be like a Make-A-Wish trip to Country Steve. I want his comeback. I want him to be happy. You know, he was a little grumpy. I'm always grumpy. We've got 4 fish on.
Fake news on the grumpy part.
I'm gonna confirm. He was a little grumpy. Well, he was grumpy until we turned the camera on.
Oh, he's a typical, he's a Hollywood diva. You know, everybody wants to know, what's working or what color in these seminars and things that we do. And I think when you see that show, you realize, that yeah, some white baits were working, but as Steve said, 5 out of 6 baits went at one time. So it wasn't a color thing. It was all the other things that we had in there. And efficiency is probably one of the biggest things with that. Having the rods, extra rod holders. You saw me, I'm putting rods out right around Steve while we're catching them. And, getting rods out of the way. I've got pliers back there, multiple pairs. Those little things like that make a big, big difference. Efficiency, how fast can you do this? And are you not going to get those things tangled up? We got all 5 of those initial fish in without mishap. So those are the things that really make a difference and need to pay attention. Really, really clean, and all the fish we're marking are right on the bottom.
He's just a little guy on top, Ross. He's already
we've
on
got
top.
5 fish on at once. So we're just trying to kind of work through this, but we'll show you some cutaways. But right now on the screen, we really don't have a lot. It's really important to mark these fish while you're driving and not look at it while you're fishing, to be honest with you.
Where's Kyle when you need him?
Yeah, Suburb Kyle, we appreciate you doing the follow. We might need you to just reel some fish or something.
Hands are cold, Kyle. Hands are cold.
I mean, I'm not complaining, but he goes right to whining. He's kind of like, it's like a Make-A-Wish trip today. The weighted one again, even though honestly we just hit that pod. Look at the screen camera, dude. Oh, yeah.
From 0 to hero.
And when you've got that thick, remember I told him, I was yelling at camera, dude, because I'm like, dude, we're on a small, small pod. That's them. We finally got to them. I went till we got out of them. And that is the importance of marking with the draft. We were running 30 miles an hour and marking those fish with like 100% accuracy. If you try to find these fish trolling at a little over a mile an hour like we're doing, you're gonna waste your whole day and never be on fish.
Wait.
Yeah, I know we were yelling at camera, dude, because we're like, man, we've got this pod, and it was so small. I mean, literally, this thing was just a couple 100 yards, if that. And when you saw them, you caught them. We couldn't even get the mics on. All you see is our backs there for a little while. But when it's happening, you've got to make it rain because, after that first pass, a few boats came in. And we still caught fish, and we caught them really good in that really small area. But it definitely wasn't what it was before. I'll get this one. You good? We're gonna keep some fish because we're doing another hook and cook for you. You'll be seeing those coming down the pipe.
That's not the walleye
No
cakes.
pun intended.
Yeah, that pun was intended. The walleye cakes. Everybody seems to really like that. Sent out the newsletter the other day, first newsletter, and everybody was clicking on the walleye cakes. So thanks for partaking. Hopefully you liked it. Make sure you sign up for our newsletters. All kinds of cool stuff. Little videos like we're doing today. The first look at it. Okay.
I never got a newsletter.
If there's not enough pictures for Country Steve.
All right. At least the right kind of picture.
There's no pop-up.
Oh, the reeling fun isn't over on this Make-A-Wish trip. I'll tell you what, Steve, I'm kind of got that patented death grip. Grab them and put them in the lake.
Yeah.
But my hands don't really like that lake as much. The net's a little easier on me.
Time of year, of course.
Oh. You got one on that one still? We went through that pod.
Is that 4 already?
Yeah. Yeah. So, the number one thing, presentation really matters because, like I said, this is like open water ice fishing. But the most really, really important thing is the location. I mean, it's just you can't cover enough water when things ain't right. So you've got to be set up on them, and that's why I was punchy when I marked that little pod. Because the same thing is you can't wait around. These fish will move.
I don't know if it's punchy. It was more like giddy.
Giddy? Oh, thank you, Country Steve. It's almost like a borderline compliment. I don't even know what to do. New year, new Steve.
No,
Country Steve.
no.
No, okay, now let's not get crazy.
Yeah.
So one of the things, you know, when you're doing this cold water stuff, it's basically, it literally is like ice fishing. I mean, we're 1 degree off of what we would be ice fishing, if not sometimes even warmer when you're actually ice fishing. Something like these little bags around here, it's kind of like fanny packs for fishermen, and little, because that net handle, you know, things that you got to take gloves off, even if you got a good pair of gloves. We've got Sims gloves, but you got to take them off, do stuff like take snaps on and off, unhooking fish.
Hooking boards.
So something like this, yeah, is nice to just kind of give you a little jump charge there. Makes a big difference. But the biggest thing is efficiency when doing this, because you saw we had 5 fish on at once. We got through that pack of, you know, hot biters, because just because you're marking them doesn't mean they're biters. This time of year, not all fish are ready to chew. So we're trying to get those lines going out as fast as you can. Only having one reeler here because camera dude's trying to do the camera stuff, but it's hard to, you know, to physically get those lines around. But watch our stuff on efficiency, because it really, really does make a difference. You can't catch them if you don't have those lines back out. Like this one that Steve's got rolling. I've got its replacement coming here. He's slowing down because he's a swell fella for me. Ooh. Ooh. I know it's been tough, and it didn't really matter there, but we try to keep an eye on the colors. See if that makes a difference.
Okay, well, 6 of the 5 of the 6 went, so the color is the outside one didn't catch a fish.
Okay. You know, I think you could very easily entitle this video "One Pass with Steve," because that's kind of what happened. We made one pass and just insanity ensued. And that's why you kind of see our backs, and that's about it. Camera dude couldn't even get in there. So things were kind of crazy, but that was all made possible by going through a whole bunch of water that had nothing and finding that really, really tiny pod thanks to the hummingbird. And you saw that little screenshot there where we were going 28 miles an hour and boom. Not only did we find the fish, but we found that they were a lot deeper than they had been by marking them at 28 miles an hour. And that was the key, because we had those weighted lines down, and I think it was over before we even got started.